What if I told you that Evinrude once built the perfect outboard engine, an engineering marvel that solved every problem boaters had complained about for decades, only to deliberately kill it off and pretend it never existed? This isn't some conspiracy theory or urban legend. This is the true story of how one of the most innovative marine engines ever created was systematically erased from history by the very company that built it. But here's the twist that will blow your mind. The reason they destroyed their own masterpiece wasn't because it didn't work. It was because it worked too well. By the end of this video, you'll discover the shocking truth behind Evinrude's most closely guarded secret, learn why sometimes perfection is the enemy of profit, and understand how this lost engine technology could have changed the entire marine industry forever. This is a story of corporate sabotage, engineering brilliance, and the dark side of innovation that the big manufacturers never want you to hear. Let's rewind to 1973. Evinrude was at the height of its power, dominating the outboard motor market alongside its sister company Johnson Motors under the Outboard Marine Corporation umbrella. But the marine industry was facing a crisis that threatened to sink the entire recreational boating market. The oil embargo had sent fuel prices skyrocketing. Environmental regulations were tightening. Boaters were demanding more fuel-efficient engines that produced fewer emissions, ran quieter, and required less maintenance. The old two-stroke technology that had powered boats for decades was suddenly looking antiquated and unsustainable. While competitors scrambled to develop incremental improvements to existing designs, Evinrude's Secret Skunk Works division, a team of their most brilliant engineers working in complete secrecy, was developing something revolutionary. They called it Project Neptune, and it would represent the most significant leap forward in outboard motor technology since the invention of the outboard itself. The team was led by Dr. Marcus Thorson, a former NASA engineer who had worked on the Apollo program's fuel systems. Thorson understood that the challenge wasn't just making engines more efficient, it was reimagining the entire concept of how an outboard motor should work. What Thorson's team created was nothing short of revolutionary. The Neptune engine featured a hybrid propulsion system that combined a highly efficient four-stroke gasoline engine with an electric motor powered by an advanced battery system. But this wasn't just slapping two power sources together. It was a seamlessly integrated system that automatically optimized performance based on operating conditions. At low speeds and idle, the engine ran purely on electric power, producing zero emissions and virtually no noise. Boaters could fish in complete silence or navigate no-wake zones without disturbing wildlife or other boaters. When more power was needed, the gasoline engine would seamlessly engage, with the electric motor providing additional boost during acceleration. The fuel efficiency numbers were staggering. In real-world testing, the Neptune engine achieved 40% better fuel economy than comparable conventional outboards. The hybrid system meant that the gasoline engine could run at its optimal RPM range most of the time, dramatically reducing wear and extending engine life. But the innovations didn't stop there. The Neptune featured a revolutionary cooling system that eliminated the need for raw water cooling, preventing corrosion and eliminating the risk of overheating due to debris blocking water intakes. The engine management system was decades ahead of its time, featuring electronic fuel injection, adaptive timing, and diagnostic capabilities that could predict maintenance needs before problems occurred. Before we reveal why Evinrude buried this technology, subscribe and hit that notification bell. We uncover untold marine innovation stories that manufacturers hide. Stories that'll change everything you know. Now here's something that will make your jaw drop. Evinrude didn't just build one prototype Neptune engine, they built over 200 of them and secretly tested them on boats across the country for 3 years. The testing program was so classified that even most Evinrude executives didn't know it existed. The test boats were disguised as regular recreational vessels, but they were actually floating laboratories collecting data on everything from fuel consumption to emissions to user satisfaction. The results were overwhelmingly positive. Test users reported that the Neptune engines were the best outboards they had ever used, with many asking where they could buy them. So why didn't the Neptune engine make it to market? The answer reveals a dark truth about corporate decision-making that goes far beyond the marine industry. In 1975, just as the Neptune was ready for production, Evinrude's parent company, Outboard Marine Corporation, was acquired by a larger conglomerate. The new owners brought in management consultants who conducted a comprehensive review of all ongoing projects. What they discovered about the Neptune engine terrified them. The advanced technology and superior performance meant that customers who bought Neptune engines would likely never need to buy another outboard again. The engines were so well built and reliable that they could run for decades with minimal maintenance. This presented what corporate executives called the Tesla problem, creating a product so good that it cannibalized future sales. The Neptune engine threatened to disrupt not just Evinrude's business model, but the entire marine industry's reliance on planned obsolescence and regular replacement cycles. Internal documents from the acquisition, leaked decades later, revealed the cold calculation behind the decision. A senior executive wrote, "The Neptune technology represents an existential threat to our long-term revenue projections. We cannot allow a product to market that eliminates the need for customers to purchase replacement engines every 10 to 15 years. What happened next was a masterclass in corporate cover-up. All Neptune prototypes were recalled from test users under the pretense of a safety review. The engines were systematically destroyed, and all documentation was classified as proprietary trade secrets and locked away. Dr. Thorson and his entire team were reassigned to special projects, corporate speak for being sidelined. Most of the engineers left the company within a year, signing non-disclosure agreements that prevented them from discussing their work for decades. The official story was that the Neptune project had been cancelled due to manufacturing cost concerns and market timing issues. But the real reason was far more sinister. The engine was too good for its own good. The cancellation of the Neptune project didn't just rob boaters of an incredible engine, it set back marine propulsion technology by decades. The hybrid technology that Evinrude developed in the 1970s wouldn't appear in production outboards until the 2000s, and even then, it was far less sophisticated than what the Neptune had achieved. Think about how different the boating world might be today if the Neptune had made it to market. We might have had virtually silent electric trolling motors with unlimited range. Fuel costs would be a fraction of what boaters pay today. Emissions from recreational boating would be minimal. The technology could have revolutionized not just outboards, but the entire marine industry. Instead, we got decades of incremental improvements to fundamentally flawed two-stroke technology. Engines that were louder, thirstier, and more polluting than they needed to be. All because corporate executives were more concerned with protecting their business model than serving their customers. If this story is making you angry, you're not alone. This is exactly why we need to preserve these untold stories of marine innovation. Make sure you subscribe and share this video with every boater you know. The marine industry has a long history of suppressing innovation to protect profits, and the only way to change that is by shining a light on these hidden stories. The Neptune story might have remained buried forever, if not for Dr. Thorson's conscience. In 2003, nearly 3 decades after the project was cancelled, Thorsen was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Facing his mortality, he decided to break his silence about the Neptune engine. In a series of interviews with marine industry journalists, Thorsen revealed the full scope of what had been lost. He provided technical specifications, performance data, and even photographs of the prototype engines. The revelation sent shockwaves through the marine industry and sparked congressional hearings about corporate suppression of environmental technology. Thorsen's testimony revealed that the Neptune wasn't just a better engine. It was a glimpse into a future where boating could be environmentally sustainable and economically efficient. The technology could have been adapted for everything from small fishing boats to large commercial vessels. But perhaps most shocking was Thorsen's revelation about the true performance capabilities of the Neptune engine. In classified testing, the engine had achieved fuel economy numbers that wouldn't be matched by production outboards for another 40 years. The electric-only mode had a range of over 50 miles, better than most electric boats today. Let's talk about some of the specific innovations that made the Neptune so revolutionary. The engine featured what Thorsen called adaptive combustion technology, a system that could adjust the combustion chamber configuration in real time based on operating conditions. This allowed the engine to optimize performance for everything from low-speed trolling to high-speed cruising. The cooling system was perhaps even more impressive. Instead of using raw water, the Neptune used a closed-loop system with advanced heat exchangers. This eliminated corrosion, prevented overheating, and allowed the engine to operate in any water conditions, including polluted or debris-filled waterways. The electric motor wasn't just an add-on, it was integrated into the engine's flywheel, providing seamless power delivery and regenerative braking that could recharge the battery system while decelerating. The battery technology, based on advanced lithium chemistry, was decades ahead of what was commercially available. You might be wondering if any of the Neptune technology has made it into modern engines. The answer is both yes and no. Several of the innovations have been independently redeveloped by modern manufacturers, but none have achieved the integrated sophistication of the original Neptune design. Mercury Marine's Avator electric outboards use some similar principles, but lack the seamless hybrid integration that made the Neptune special. Yamaha's 4-stroke engines incorporate some of the combustion optimization technology, but without the adaptive capabilities that Thorsen's team developed. Several startup companies have attempted to recreate the Neptune based on Thorsen's leaked specifications, but none have been able to match the original's performance. The integration of so many advanced systems required a level of engineering expertise that may have been lost with the original team. The Neptune story isn't just about one lost engine. It's about a pattern of corporate behavior that has held back innovation across many industries. When companies prioritize protecting existing revenue streams over advancing technology, everyone loses. This pattern is particularly evident in the marine industry, where the same basic engine designs have been recycled for decades with only minor improvements. The reluctance to embrace truly revolutionary technology has kept boating expensive, polluting, and less enjoyable than it could be. The Neptune engine represents what could have been a world where boating was accessible, environmentally friendly, and technologically advanced. Instead, we got decades of incremental improvements to fundamentally flawed designs. But here's one final twist that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the marine industry. According to recently declassified documents, the Neptune wasn't Evinrude's only suppressed innovation. They had also developed revolutionary propeller designs, advanced hull coatings, and even early GPS navigation systems. all of which were shelved for similar reasons. The Neptune engine was just the tip of the iceberg. For decades, the marine industry has been sitting on a treasure trove of innovations that could have transformed boating. The question is, what other game-changing technologies are locked away in corporate vaults right now? Dr. Thorsen passed away in 2004, but his legacy lives on in every engineer who refuses to accept good enough, and every boater who demands better from their equipment. The Neptune engine may be gone, but the spirit of innovation that created it continues to inspire new generations of marine engineers. The perfect engine may have disappeared, but the dream of what it represented, cleaner, quieter, more efficient boating, lives on. And maybe, just maybe, someone watching this video will be inspired to pick up where Thorsen left off and finally bring that dream to reality. What can we learn from the Neptune story? First, that corporate decision-making isn't always aligned with customer interests or technological progress. The most profitable path for a company isn't necessarily the best path for society or the environment. Second, that breakthrough innovations often come from small, dedicated teams working outside the constraints of corporate bureaucracy. The Neptune was developed by a handful of engineers who were given the freedom to reimagine what was possible. Third, that preserving and sharing these stories is crucial for preventing similar losses in the future. When we understand how innovation has been suppressed in the past, we can better recognize and prevent it from happening again. The story of the Neptune engine should make us all think differently about the technology we use and the companies that make it. How many other revolutionary innovations have been buried to protect corporate profits? How much progress have we lost to short-term thinking and greed? This is why channels like ours are so important. We're not just entertaining you with cool boat stories, we're preserving the history of marine innovation and holding the industry accountable for its choices. If you believe in the importance of this mission, please subscribe, share this video, and support our work by checking out our Patreon link in the description. Together, we can ensure that the next Neptune engine doesn't disappear into corporate vaults. We can demand better from our marine manufacturers and support companies that prioritize innovation over profit protection.